Yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Obviously delighted with 3 points. Delighted with a clean sheet tonight. In terms of as far as away trips goes, 4 points on the road. Helps us build a bit of momentum into the next. But as I say, delighted with the performance today.
All right, thanks, Coach. First hand up went to Brian. Brian, go ahead.
So, Coach, congratulations on the win. We are, as I saw tonight, this was a really kind of a dominating defensive performance. It was second half before Louisville got their first shot on goal. How is the defense shaping up coming back? Because I know that's the part that gets the rustiest in the time off.
Yeah, I've been sort of saying it's something we've been working hard on, and tonight I think it was nice. We've sort of put into place some of the things that we've been working on, and the fact that we kept them out for that long and kept a clean sheet. We obviously knew a lot of their strengths, and I thought we protected ourselves really well against them, and really resilient to see the game out at the end when they're sort of loading the line. So yeah, I thought the back five, including Jordan in that, were excellent.
And so let's talk a little bit about Karlie Lema's goal, where she is, she was hard pressing a lot of the night, and then was really able to capitalize when the goalie made just a tiny mistake, as they were kind of maybe playing a little too much with the ball in their own end.
Yeah, I think Karlie's work rate is tremendous, and she sets the tone from the press. And I think she was close to nicking one in the first half with a similar type of jump press. And I'm really pleased that she got the reward for all her hard work. And in terms of her confidence, she scored 2 goals in 2 games now. And I'm just really pleased for her tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Brian. Next up, we'll go to Marco.
Hey, Coach. Marco, College Fair Sports Wrap. Congratulations on snapping the winning streak. They had really got some pressure on in the really first 10 minutes. They had a few balls that went into the box, but what I liked was that everyone collapsed in the middle and did not allow them to get any kind of chances. Once the ball got in there, they were able to clear it. Do you feel like the team got momentum after not allowing any kind of chance after those first 10 minutes of the match?
Yeah, do you know what? I couldn't agree more in terms of, obviously we really sort of rode a wave of pressure in the terms of how they started the game. I thought they pressed us really high. They stifled our ability to play. They loaded our box, and I think we were defending a corner maybe in the first couple of minutes of the game, and we know sort of their strengths from set plays, and I thought once we sort of rode that storm and we started going back to the things that we know we're good at, playing off less touches, playing through our midfield, playing through our structures, I thought that was really good. But the way that we always knew that we had to protect and defend our box and prioritise that, and I thought the midfield did a really good job of just sort of screening that space in front and making sure that we weren't just winning the first balls, but we were landing on the seconds as well. And as I say, I thought midfield did a great job of that today.
And it seemed like once you guys got possession, that really deflated Louisville because they weren't able to really keep up with you guys. One player in particular I want to talk about is Manny Moreau. She just kind of started that first goal where she got the ball inside into Karlie before Karlie made that great one touch, and then the shot that was saved before Kennedy taps it in. But can you just talk about her game and how overall she played tonight?
Yeah, do you know what? I thought she was brilliant. I thought they really tried to overload our fullbacks with 2v1s, and we knew that they were going to get in situations where they had to deal with 2v1s, deal with those big balls, being situations they were going to be faced up 1v1, and I thought Maddie did a great job, and not only that, but our fullbacks are so important in possession play, and I thought both of them, but especially Maddie, like you said, has done a really good job. And I still think as we start developing the connections and the freedom and the fluidity, and when we play really nice football. And I thought what was really nice tonight is that we scored 2 goals. We've hit the crossbar. We had a couple of the goalkeeper made a couple of other good saves. So a different day we score a couple more, but you can start to see the rhythm forming in the team. And again, another shout out to Kennedy and the way that she's sort of connected the units together. So we're making progress in all the areas that we want to.
And finally, 2 games in 5 days is it going to be nice to actually get back to a regular practice week, and after traveling and being out away from home for this last week and a half?
Yeah, absolutely. The way that we approach everything in terms of the fixtures is always a performance decision, and we knew, in order to maximise our ability on the road, that we obviously needed to stay out and almost do it as a mini camp. And I'm sure everyone's excited to get back. A couple of days recovery in, get back into our own beds, our own home, our own training facility, and as I say, this next block of games is a big one, so it's really nice to get 4 points on the board and a bit of confidence and momentum going into obviously into the next run of games.
Congratulations, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marco. Coach, you kind of talked on it a little bit right there with Kennedy, and then with Karlie, we're going to talk to her, both of them in just a minute. The connection between the two, and then just the overall connection since Kennedy's been coming in. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that we want our team to be is fluid in the way that we play, and I think Kennedy's got a real natural ability to occupy the pockets and recognise little adjustments and work off people, and her football IQ is very good. The way she's scouting and taking in pictures, and I think what we're starting to recognise now is that ability to play off each other. And the more that we get that stability in the team, that we recognise the moments of what structure we want to be in, when and why, and almost not think as much. And that's been one of the message to the girls, is actually when we play off less touches and we enjoy the ball and we play with that sort of freedom, honestly it's so nice to watch. And as I say, the fact that Kennedy's just sort of slotted straight in there and connected the units together is really nice, and again really pleased for her to get her first goal on the board as well.
And then Karlie scores her second goal in as many games. You think everything's starting to click for her right now?
I think so. I could tell sort of in the break. I think I said it in one of the media stuff earlier when we just come off the break. Like, she looks so confident the way she's hitting the ball in training. She's constantly hitting the back of the net. We've done a lot of work with her in terms of positioning. How does she time her runs so that she increases the quality and the chances of her finishing? And as I say, she just looks like she's played with such confidence right now, and it's been really nice as well to see her and Cree develop a real nice relationship as well. You can see Cree giving her advice and talking to her, and that's what being in a great team is all about.
All right. Any other questions for Coach? Okay, we're going to let her go, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes with Karlie Lema and Kennedy Fuller. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we are back, joined by Karlie Lema and Kennedy Fuller, and we will go straight to questions for these two. If you have a question, use the raise your hand feature, and we'll get you called on. Who wants to be first? Well, let's start off with Marco then.
Good evening, ladies. Marco Yukalovich, Bay Area Sports Wrap. Before I get to the performance, that pitch looked terrible watching it on television. Did you guys have any footing issues while playing on that for that 90 minutes?
Yeah, it was not the best, but we made it work and we made the best of it. So yeah, it was definitely tough, but we got the job done.
And then Kennedy, when you look at you scoring your first goal, the way you guys had that possession, with starting with Maddie and then Karlie, your great first touch, and then the goalie makes a great save on that one shot, but then you're there to tap it in. So were you anticipating that might have been a rebound there?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, our build-up was so good, and we've really been working on that. And I feel like we executed the game plan after the first 10 minutes, and like I said in the halftime, it doesn't get much easier than that. My teammates really just placed it on a platter, and I just literally tapped it in. So.
And then Karlie, they say goals come in bunches. Now it's just back-to-back matches where you've got a goal. Is your confidence kind of an all-time high now, knowing that the ball's going to be going in the back of the net for you?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely helps for sure. I think, like Kennedy said, we've been playing great as a team these last 2 games, and I think we just wanted to come into the second block with energy, and we've been giving that. So yeah, we want to continue this moving forward. And
then lastly for me, it just seemed like when you guys withstood the pressure in that 10 minutes, you guys started playing your game and took over. It just seemed like they were just flat, emotionally. Could you sense that out there on the pitch when you were playing them?
Yeah, I think the first 10 minutes were a little bit chaotic, but after that first 10, we kind of got the hang of things and started, possessing up the field, and I don't think, they really knew how to solve that. So yeah, it worked in our favor.
All right. Congratulations on both you guys' goals and stopping the winning streak. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Marco. Brian, did you have a question?
I certainly did. Well, obviously congratulations on the win. Getting a couple of results on the way back from the summer break, it's got to work well for you, especially on the road. What kind of confidence are you going to bring next week coming back to the home ground at PayPal?
Go ahead. Yeah, I think we're excited to, be back at home. We've been on the road for like 9 days now, so it'll be exciting to play in front of our home fans with our home energy and, just hopefully continue this winning streak at home in front of our fans.
I mean, if you look at the standing, this is the game that, you probably should have, won. But what kind of identity is Coach really instilling in you that on a game that you should have won, you came out, didn't give them a shot on goal until the second half and really played this kind of dominating football?
The cool thing about this league is that anyone can win on any given day, and I think if you look at the circumstances, it's hot, the field's not great, and we're away, they're at home, and obviously those are determining factors that could go either way. And I think the importance, like something that Emma's just really like instilled in us, and I've been here for 2 weeks and she's really like narrowed down on this, is just like sticking to our game plan. And I think also like something that I find so special with this team is the energy that each and every person brings, like that it's so cool and you can just feel it. And I think one of the questions earlier was like their feelings were deflated after the first 10 minutes, and I feel like you could feel it. And I think the energy from our team and like the bench was really a determining factor of that as well.
And this was first win in a little while, few results. Getting back on the straight back from the break with a draw on the road and then a win on the road. Is this that kind of momentum, and are you starting to feel the way that Emma's been asking you to play all season, especially from Karlie's perspective, where she's wanting you to press from the front and get those kind of goals like you got tonight?
Yeah, I think it's not going to happen overnight, and I think we've come into this second block with like an open mind and just knowing like we're gonna come out with a win. And I think we've been doing a good job at that, and we're gonna continue doing a good job at that. And so yeah, I think when you have everyone behind you when you're trying to press, it's pretty easy. So I think we're just gonna continue that going forward.
That's all I got.
Thanks, Brian. Kennedy, great first couple of games with the club, but next week, first game at PayPal Park. Excited about it?
Yeah, I mean, PayPal's when obviously I was before, like PayPal's one of the scariest places to play, and so I'm obviously so excited to be able to be on the other side of that and be able to be behind the fans and just kind of have like a lot of the World Cup stuff is talking about like a 12th man and using your home advantage, and I'm like so excited for that because our fans are like so fun, and I've met a couple of them like through the season ticket member event, and it was already a great time, and so I'm excited to have that on Saturday. Is it Saturday?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Yes. And then you really started to put your stamp on this team with great performance in Boston and then the goal tonight. What are you seeing with your new teammates, and how is it able to click so well?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can't score a goal without passes like that, and like they make it so easy. And I think something that Emma's instilled in me, and then the team has kind of really backed her up on that, is just like confidence, and that's obviously like what you need from your young players and your players that are like right on the line of like hitting what they want to do for the season, and that it's something special about this team, and that's just like what's going to take us to the next level is just that confidence instilled in each other. And we talked about trust the other day, of just like trusting that your teammates are going to have your back, and they're going to make that tackle and they're going to make that pass. And so that's something that we're obviously working on, and it's gotten better honestly from our Boston game to this game, and then we're just looking to grow throughout the second half of the season.
And Karlie, 2 goals in 2 games. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How is it feeling out there? You're seeing the goal and seeing the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, I think it's like we were saying, like it's easy when you have great teammates behind you and like cheering you on, and I think it helps with confidence wise, and I think it's a good start to the second block of the season.
And last, I know you guys are both offensive side. We've been talking about that all night, but defense and Jordan Sokowitz recording another clean sheet tonight. Talk about just closing out the game against when they're trying to really press high.
Yeah, I think we've just been talking about like how we need to close out games, and we kind of showed today that we are capable of doing that, and I think we're going to continue doing that going forward. I think it's just important that we're all on the same page in the last 10 minutes, and we showed that today.
All right. Any other questions for these two?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Marco first, go ahead.
Go ahead, Marco.
I was just going to say, was there any fun activities that the team did, and how well do you know your new teammates now, Kennedy?
We did a little Quizlet over what was it? Things that you wouldn't know about people, and that was fun. Got to know a lot of different things, but like starting your Bay career as a 10-day trip is not easy, and they made it really easy, and they made it super fun, and so like you can't one thing I will continue to harp on is just how great of a team, like teammates they are on and off the field. Like every day you could hear earlier, like just Alex and Kelly just making so much fun, and that's what you need out of a team, because playing in this league is so hard, and playing and like doing what we do is so hard, and so being able to come in and have teammates like that and that are just driving the fun part of soccer it makes it so fun.
Great.
Thanks, Marco. Go ahead, Brian.
So as Emma has come along this season, it seems like win or lose, she's very even. Does that make it easier for players like you guys to play for, that it's not too high and it's not too critical if something's not going right?
Yeah, I think, she's done a good job of, keeping us like even tone throughout the season. We talk about having like a pulse, and she's done a good job at, when we lose, we go over things we need to work on, but still looking ahead to the next game. And I think, and when we win, we want to do it well. And so she's done a good job at, like you said, not getting too high or too low.
But yeah, because it seems like she manages that team emotion very well, in that she's not letting everything go too out. I mean, she's not jumping up and down when you lose, or coming in with a big sad face or not jumping up and down or coming in with a sad face when you lose, or getting too excited when you are winning. But it seems like the team is also starting to really get the stuff she was talking about at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys were seeing?
I mean, obviously I was on the outside and for the first half of the season, but you could tell, like, playing against her, like, exactly what she wanted. And you could see little spurts of that. And so now, like, being actually in it, and she's, like, so smart of a coach, and that's what you need. Like, she's able to explain exactly why she wants things the way she wants it, and it makes it easier as players to be able to like play her style, but also get creativity through that. And like, it obviously on the outside, like you could see what she wanted, and so now, I mean, we're slowly starting to get it, I think. And like my little preseason in the summer window was my introductory to that. But yeah, I mean, I think so. Which, yeah.
And then since you touched on that, I'm gonna follow up with it a little bit, just one here. So how much, when she's able to explain exactly what she wants and give you the whys, how much easier does that make to play for her, and how much more bought in does that make both of you as players to be like, I'm going to give her exactly what she wants because I know exactly what we're wanting to do here?
Yeah, I mean, I think having her, tell us exactly what she wants each and every game is very helpful, and it's up to us to execute that, and we showed that today. We executed the game plan, and I think, we came out with the win. So if we can continue doing that and just building on, the little things that we still need to work on, I think, we're going to be great by the end of the season. And yeah, I think it's just easy to, like, trust each other when we have such a close-knit team. So that's been very helpful.
Okay, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. All right, well, that is it for us tonight. We are headed home, being back
Finally.
next week at PayPal Park. So we will see you then. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.